Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I am doing part 2 of my Q&A video. In this one, I'm going to be answering all the questions that are not really book related. Some of them are kind of book adjacent, as you will see, but they're not really about books and reading necessarily. Also, before I begin, I just want to point out that I'm wearing my Christmas sweater for this video because it was Christmas sweater day at work, and I realized right before I started recording this basically that last year's Q&A, one of them, and I'm pretty sure it's part 2 as well, I was wearing this exact same sweater, and now I'm like, man, I feel like this is going to become a thing now where every time I do the second part of my Q&A, I'm going to have to wear my Christmas sweater, whether or not I was wearing it that day or not. But anyways, that's a tangent. Let's just jump into the questions. Once again, these are not organized in any sort of way, so I apologize that there isn't like some sort of guiding theme, but I don't have time. All right, the first one, it says, so you've got a ton of side hustle. What do you wish you knew starting out as far as BookTube, podcast, and Tiny Letter? What would you do different if you were to start from scratch again? The reason why I read those two together is because they're kind of related. If I was to start over again, one of the things I would do differently is get a microphone sooner. I don't use a microphone like an actual physical microphone right now. I use my phone as my audio recording, and then I just upload this audio file to my computer and like sync them to the video file and things like that. I think that combined with knowing how to like properly light for videos is like a thing I wish I knew earlier on, because my videos before were so yellow. But you know, like you're never going to know everything when you're first starting off anything, so I learned over time, and you know, it's not like my audio is perfect now or my lighting is always perfect now, but you know, I've gotten better. That's what matters. Second question was, if you had to wipe the slate clean and could only do one thing, what would Rincey 2.0 look like? Finance, podcast, artistic, Twitch, Bookstagram. I'm assuming that my answer to this can't be BookTube, because like honestly, this is my favorite thing. If I had to get rid of all of the stuff that I'm currently doing and only do one, it would be this channel, honestly, because I have like put my heart into this. Like I do the things that I love on this channel, whether or not they are popular or successful, you know, successful, whatever. I consider them successful because there are people watching it. Yeah, like this would be my thing, but assuming that BookTube can't be my answer, it would probably be Bookstagram. I really like taking pictures. My Bookstagram isn't like perfect or great because I don't like try to have an aesthetic. Yeah, like I know I'm not going to be as popular on Bookstagram as I would be here on BookTube. Yeah, I think that would probably be my next one. My other thing that I'm leaning towards is something like cooking related. If I did like cooking YouTube videos or Instagram videos, something like that, but I don't know if I would want to like make up my own recipes. That's like the part I don't really care that much about. Like I just like recording the process and like putting it out there for you guys. All right, next is, what have been your favorite films this year that you saw this year but doesn't necessarily come out this year? So this is where I admit that I watch like no movies. I go to the theater maybe once a quarter, like legitimately maybe once a quarter. And then like watching movies at home, it just very rarely happens. This is how I've been my like entire life. Out of the, you know, handful that I saw, it would be like Black Panther and To All the Boys I Loved Before. Like, it's pretty simple. Okay, and then also Sabrina from Unmanaged Mischief, she asked the previous question, and then her next question was, where should she go to eat in Chicago to celebrate her birthday? Because she's going to be in town visiting her sister in February. This is a very complicated answer because Chicago has so much good food to offer, and it kind of depends on like what you like to eat. I'm assuming that you would like ramen, and I would tell you then to go to Wasabi, which is my favorite in Logan Square. They've recently expanded too, so the waits aren't as terrible, but you know, try to avoid peak times. Other places that I would recommend are Little Goat in West Loop. It is like a lunch brunch type of place. So go there for like breakfast or brunch or something like that. If that's what you're in the mood for. What else do I really love? I mean, I feel like in general, if you go to like the Wicker Park-ish area, you're going to find good stuff. You know, Big Star is kind of like the big taco place here in Chicago, but I also really like Antique Taco, which is in Wicker Park. And also like Wicker Park has like really great bookstores and record stores and clothing stores and things like that too. So if you want to do some of that, There's like Stan's Donuts if you want donuts. There's Jenny's Ice Cream if you want ice cream. Yeah, there's a lot of options out there. So it kind of depends on like what you're in the mood for and also like what neighborhoods you're in. There's a lot of really good stuff coming out in like the Edgewater, Andersonville type of area too. If you are more on that side of the city, yes, feel free to like message me and tell me where you're gonna be. All right, someone asked me like what's the weirdest music I like to listen to, and for this, it's hard to say because I don't know what's considered weird. I listen to a lot of different music. I listen to a lot of classical music, which some people consider weird, but I don't consider it that weird. If you aren't aware, I play violin, so I feel like listening to classical music makes sense. I also just like instrumental music and like that sort of electronica and things like that. I also like listening to music in other languages that I don't understand. That's also a really good way to have music going in the background without it like distracting you with the lyrics and things like that if you are that type of person. So yeah, I don't know if those are considered weird. Like, it's not like I'm listening to, I don't know, Philip Glass. Like, I mean, I have listened to Philip Glass before, but he's not like a go-to guy for me or anything like that. All right, and then I am going to kind of jump to a related questions. A couple of people have asked me like what are been some of my favorite albums that I've listened to this year. So I feel like my music listening has been like, again, theme for all of my vlogmas videos, kind of off this year. This isn't necessarily the best representation of what I've been listening to. I've basically like just pulled my stats. And so I listened to a lot of Mitski's Be the Cowboy album. I love that album so much, and I went and saw her live and she's amazing live. I really like Hanson's new String Theory album. Again, like I just mentioned, I love things with orchestra, and basically what they did is they both wrote new songs as well as like redid old songs, so that way they all have like a full orchestral background or addition to them all, and it's amazing. It's so well done. I really like Carrie Underwood's new album, which is probably like one that's sort of out of left field if you like make assumptions about the music that I listen to, but I actually really like Carrie Underwood, so I listen to that one a lot. I listen to Phil Wickham's new album a whole lot. He's a Christian artist who I have enjoyed since his like very first album came out. It came out like my sophomore or junior year in college, and I have been following his music ever since then. There is this like up and coming indie artist named Khalid who came out with an EP this year that I really love. It's called Sun City. I listened to that one so much. It's only like 4 or 5 songs on there, but they're so good. Lord Huron's new albums I really enjoyed as well. Florence and the Machine's new album came out this year. I really enjoyed that one. I listened to the Black Panther soundtrack a whole bunch earlier in the year. Yeah, I think that's a good roundup of them. All right, next is what's your favorite hobby that doesn't include reading? And this is one that's hard for me to say because I'm not very good at like knowing what are hobbies. I really like cooking and baking a lot, if that wasn't obvious, as well as like going out to eat. I enjoy like going for bike rides. I like playing Pokemon Go. Is that considered a hobby? All right, next question is what are some of your favorite TV shows from this year? And this one is very easy for me to answer because I have not watched a whole lot of TV this year. I've been like relying on old favorites. So it's Jane the Virgin, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Good Place. Those are like the ones I watch that are currently on TV. I also currently watch The Great British Bake Off. Was there a new season of One Day at a Time this year? If there was, I watched that. But yeah, I think that's basically everything. I like shows that warm my heart. This is kind of a long question. I will be taking reading comprehension tests soon, and I was wondering how you think you will do if you were to take the SAT again, but only reading comprehension section. The time is key in reading in tests, so is there any tip for reading quickly and accurately? I'm not sure if my questions make sense, but thanks. Yeah, I don't know how I would do on the SATs if I had to take them now. I think one of the big things with taking any sort of standardized test is just learning the tricks. So if you can take a prep class, take a prep class and do as many prep sessions as you can. Obviously, I know that often costs money, so it's not feasible for everyone, but I recommend it if you can, and to learn the tricks from like the professionals out there. Yeah, I don't know if I have like good tips because this is not a thing I need to do anymore. And also like I feel like I've gotten pretty good at skimming, and I also don't remember what the SATs are like. I'm old. So yeah, if I had to take it like today, I would probably do worse because I'm not prepared. But I think, again, it's all about just like learning how those standardized tests work and then utilizing those tips more than like how smart you actually are. All right, next question is what has been your favorite travel experience? And I've had the opportunity to travel quite a bit. I have like a lot of moments in various trips that I really enjoyed. I really liked when I got to go to London for obvious reasons. For my 30th birthday, I went to New York City, and like going to New York City itself is like not super exciting to me. No offense to anyone who lives in New York City. I'm not like crazy about that city, but for my 30th birthday, I like went all out and I saw Hamilton. I saw The Color Purple, I saw Fiddler on the Roof, I saw J.K. Rowling at Carnegie Hall for the premiere of Fantastic Beasts. So that was a good one. But then also I went to California in 2015. It was when I was going to VidCon. I flew out to Northern California first to visit a friend, and then I drove down the Pacific Coast by myself, and that was just, you know, beautiful as you would imagine it to be. All right, next question is, how did you find your way to working at Book Riot? So my experience is a little bit different than a lot of people's because I got hired in like 2014, I want to say, because Book Riot was about to launch their YouTube channel and they wanted someone who was already on YouTube to join their team. They contacted me and reached out and said, hey, were you interested? And I said yes, because I was already a fan of theirs and I was very excited to have the opportunity and legitimately like changed things in my life. But if anyone is interested for working at Book Riot, they're always accepting applications. There's a link at the bottom of their website that says like join us or something along those lines. You just have to fill out an application and submit some writing samples. They don't have to be published anywhere, just, you know, examples of how you write, basically. That's what writing samples are. I don't believe that they're going to hire people specifically for BookTube if that's a thing you are interested in doing, but you can get hired to be a writer for the website. You can't get hired specifically for BookTube, just so you're aware. Next is, what's your favorite thing about living in Chicago and what are some of your favorite places to go around the city? So this is a very long list. There's lots of things I love about it. I enjoy being in a major city where there are so many great opportunities to do really cool things, go to musicals, go to concerts, go to museums. I think Chicago is really great in terms of like weather, which some people probably disagree with because we get like blizzards obviously, and it gets really cold here sometimes, and it's like everyone from January to March is kind of miserable, but like summertime in Chicago is amazing, and we get like all 4 seasons, even if some of them feel shorter than others. I love going to the lake and just like walking on the lakefront. That's probably my favorite thing to do, but I also really love the Art Institute and just like being in Millennium Park. Obviously love the bookstores here. Chicago's great. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend visiting if you have the opportunity. Just, you know, come during some of the warmer months. All right, final question. This is a longer one and kind of an in-depth one. So it says, based on your life experience, what general or specific life advice would you give someone in their early 20s that you think would be helpful? Like, what have you learned from your experience that you wish you would have known at that age, or you did know and found useful? One of them is like budgeting. I already talked about this quite a bit in my life update video, but like honestly, it's a game changer for real. And like to get that, the sooner you get that stuff sorted off, the better you'll be later on in life. So, you know, making a plan to pay down your debts if you have any debts, or making a plan to start investing for retirement if you have the choice to do that. Try to do that as soon as you possibly can. Like, everyone's super all about like YOLOing in their 20s, which I totally get, because it is a great time to be able to do things that you might not be able to do otherwise, because you're probably not married and you probably don't have kids and things like that, and you're young enough to experience different things, but also like, you know, try to be a little bit responsible sometimes. But also that even though it gets harder in your 20s to make friends, it's still possible to do so. So don't feel like if you like maybe lose touch with people after college, there are still opportunities to make friends. It just like requires more effort on your part, because you're not just like in rooms with people all the time. I mean, you kind of are at work, but like the people that you work with might not necessarily be people that you would be friends with, depending on where you work. The opportunities are out there. You're probably just going to have to put yourself out there a lot more than you may have in the past. So I will end it on that. Again, thanks so much to everyone for watching these videos. But that wasn't what I meant to say. I wanted to say thanks to everyone who submitted questions for these videos. Always appreciate it. As a reminder, my final video for Vlogmas is going up on Monday, and that is going to be my favorite books of the year. So get excited for that. So yeah, if you ever have questions otherwise, you're always more than welcome to like leave them down in the comment sections of various videos. But yeah, thanks again for indulging me for this little bit, and I will see you guys again on Monday. Bye.